this channel is, oh man, I've had so many different ideas going through my head for the past couple of days, especially today and yesterday, about this channel. And I'm trying to figure out, what does this channel become? You know, when I first started it, I was like thinking, I just want to let it evolve naturally. I don't want to put any pressure on myself. And after making 2 videos, I already think I know what I want this channel to be about. And that is truth. I want to use this channel as a way for me to just let out my thoughts, put my thoughts out to the world, put out what I believe to be true at that current moment about any topic. So I believe that truth is something that evolves over time. I don't believe that truth is a fixed thing. I believe truths have a half-life, almost all truths. A good example would be, the sun. Everybody used to think that the sun was literally God rising up every single day. And God would, go across the sky and set every day. And that was their truth. And that truth made sense for such a long time for so many people. It was like universal truth. And to believe anything else was out of the ordinary. It wasn't true. And, I think that in the future, we're going to look back at this time at a lot of things that we believe to be true right now. And in the future, those things will not be true. And I think that truth is important, because to live without truth, or to live against something that you believe is true, it fragments reality. An example, by the way, this channel for me, like, I want to be able to just riff what I'm thinking. If consider it like a podcast with myself, and if I'm thinking something comes to my mind, I might go off on a tangent, and I don't care. That's what I want to do. I just want to be able to speak freely without any pressure. And I think this episode, I'm feeling pressure because I have so many ideas of what I want to do. I think I could make 20 of these today and post them all, just because there's so many topics I want to talk about. But I'm not going to. Anyways, if I go off on a tangent, or I want to be able to speak my emotions, speak as they come up. I want to be able to just project what I'm thinking, verbalize what I'm thinking. I'm not the most articulate person, but I hope over time this process will help me become more articulate. My mother always says that reading is a way to become more articulate. I hate reading, unfortunately. Shout out to my friend Chris. He said, Chris Huang, he said that my lighting was a little bit dark last time, so we brightened it up a little bit. Hopefully this is good enough for you, Chris. Anyways, what was I talking about? And if I have to think about something, I might take time to do it. This video is going to be completely uncut, completely, it'll have some edits on it. Maybe I'll overlay some things on the video, but I'm not going to edit anything out, kind of like a podcast. Sometimes podcasts get edited out, but I don't want to. What was I talking about? I want this channel to be a place where every day, maybe multiple times a day, I just come in and give my perspective on the truth about something. And like I said, I believe all truths have a half-life. The sun used to be going all over the place. The sun used to be God to everyone. And then today it's nuclear fission, right? And everybody believes the sun to be nuclear fission today. But in the future, it might become something else. Who knows? It could be It could be the same way we don't understand what a black hole truly is. Maybe the sun is the opposite of a black hole. Maybe something is coming out of the middle of the sun that we can't see yet because we haven't dug down to the deepest parts of the sun. And currently it's impossible to do that. Maybe we'll come up with technology that can do that in the future, and we'll discover the sun to be something else. But right now, for what we need, the sun is nuclear fission, and it gives us energy, and we have all these concepts and labels and ideas of what the sun is. And I believe we'll find something else out about the sun that we don't realize at some point. And I believe that about almost all truths. And that's what I want this channel to be. I want this to be an exploration of getting deeper and deeper into what something is essentially. Another example would be, what am I? I'm a human. That's a label that we put on ourselves. But when you can always keep going deeper and deeper into what a human is. You can go down to the cellular level. You can go down to the atomic level. You can go down to the quantum level, and who knows what's beyond the quantum level. Like, there's always these newer levels that we kind of hold on to as an understanding, but we can always dive a little bit deeper. And that's what I want this channel to be. So I'm going to make a series out of every single video. Or, this is going to be labeled The Truth About My Channel. And part 1. And in the future, when I want to address the channel, I'll do the Truth About My Channel part 2, the Truth About My Channel part 3. Excuse me. And I want this to be low pressure, get the thoughts out. Who cares if people watch the episode or not? I just want to be able to freely unload the thoughts that are going on in my head, because I have so many thoughts going on all the time. And for years and years, they've just been loading on top of my brain, and I just need to offload them into this video. And even if nobody sees this, maybe my kids will watch it one day, and I think that's who I want to make this for. It's kind of like a live journal. One of my friends mentioned live journal today, and his name's Scott Paul, and he said that he wanted to do something similar to this, and I think live journal is a great way of looking at it. I'm feeling tense right now just because there's so many ideas I've had in the past day about things I want to talk about, and I think after I make this video, I might make another episode right after it about something else. The truth about money, the truth about consciousness, the truth about truth, the truth about everything. And I hope by doing this, I'll be able to have a better understanding of myself. I'll be able to offload all my ideas and kind of explore, different ideas. And new ideas. Something to note about truth is there's always the anti-truth. Someone said, I can't remember who it is, but first-rate intelligence is to be able to hold two opposing ideas simultaneously in your head, and to choose one of them. I think it's something like that. And an example of that would be, if you look at a hero and a villain, if you look at two people that are butting up against each other, in their own minds, if you were to look at the story of each of those individuals, if you were to do a movie about those individuals, they would be the hero of their own movie, because the thing they are pursuing is what they believe to be true. And really, something that is evil, or that seems to be evil, is really something that is holds a truth that they are trying to strive towards. But it depends on which side you're looking at. It depends on what side perspective you're looking at. For example, if there's some sort of a terrorist, someone that's leader of a terrorist organization, they believe everything that they're doing to be the truthful, the right thing, and heroic at the same time. And everyone following that idea also believes that what they are doing is the truth, and is heroic and is the right thing to do. So, someone who's part of what someone would deem a terrorist organization, they would look at the opposing side as the terrorist, and the question isn't what's right or what's wrong. It's what are the truths that they hold, and how do they interact with each other. If you break them down, if you clash them against each other, who is right and who is wrong. And I don't think we have an answer to that. I don't think that anyone knows what is true. And I have a whole bunch of it's funny because YouTube says that in order for people to discover, or for them to bump your video up in the algorithm, that you have to be able to retain users, or to retain viewers. And with all the pauses I'm making, that's not what I'm doing here. I don't think I'm maintaining a lot of viewership. But if you have made it this far, thank you. If you haven't, then you don't know that you didn't make it this far, and that I was thanking those that did. I suspect that humanity is headed towards a really dangerous path right now, because everybody believes that what they are thinking is the real truth, when I think the truth may either lie in between, or not at all what anybody's thinking. And I try to look at it as, if you were to go into the future and look back at what's happening right now, what would they believe? What would people in the future look to be, the truest thing right now? And I try to use that to wash away my current biases of what I think, what society is telling us is the truth. Media on one side is telling us one thing, media on the other side is telling us another. And I try to think, if we were to have an objective artificial intelligence machine take all the data in the future, because that's going to happen. There's going to be some sort of an AI that collects all the data and is able to make some sort of a calculation of what it believes to be true. And if we were to look at now, a lot of the questions that we ask ourselves, what would it say? If there could be an objective truth, what would that objective truth tell us? And that's how I try to look at things. But I'm human. I've got my biases. And yeah. I'm feeling tense right now. I don't know why I'm feeling tense. Even more tense than yesterday's video. I think it's because I've just been thinking about so many things I want to talk about. This is going to take practice. This isn't easy, especially for someone who's never been on camera before. I can't imagine how hard it would be for someone like that. So if you're watching this and you're thinking of starting a channel, I highly recommend doing what I'm doing right now, just getting in front of a camera, hitting record, talking to the camera, getting out all your fears, getting out all your anxieties, and try not to have a screen in front of you looking at yourself, because you want to ignore that. You don't want to be distracted by what you look like. Who cares what you look like? The truth about my channel. Maybe that's not a good title to give the channel, the truth about. But I think for right now, it's something that I would want to do, and that's my current truth. Maybe it'll evolve into something else. Maybe it won't. All I know is I need to keep making these every day. I'm also launching something on this Thursday coming up called the 2020 Challenge. And this is something that I'm scared of because basically I'm going to ask a bunch of people on the internet to write. This is what I currently think it's going to be. It might change a little bit, but basically the 2020 Challenge, the premise is that 2020 has been a rough year. It's been one of the hardest years of our life as a society. It's been challenging. And I find in my life, the times that I challenge myself to do something like this video, the times I challenge myself is where I find the most meaning in my life, is where I find the most growth. It's where I get to discover who I truly am. And there's going to be this Thursday, it's going to be October 1st. And that means there's 3 months left of 2020. And the premise is that there's 20 days left, 3 months left of the year, and we have the choice as a society to make 2020 the best year of our life. I don't want to look back at 2020 and be like, oh, that year was the worst. It was so hard. I want to look back. Man, I have lots of acid. I gotta stop drinking coffee. It's gonna be another challenge of mine. I want to look back at 2020 and know that this was the best year of my life because, I challenged myself. And the 2020 challenge is going to be, I'm going to challenge everyone to start the challenge, write down 10 things that seem almost impossible or that are very challenging for you to accomplish by the end of the year, by 2021, by January 1st, 2021. Start off with 10, and then you have to also add 10 more as you go. So you can be inspired by everybody else doing the 2020 challenge. And through this challenge, look, even if you don't complete the challenge, some of them have to be so seemingly impossible that you actually can't do them. And it's not actually about completing the challenge, it's about trying to accomplish tasks in the challenge. And if each person can do that, if you can knock off 20 big, almost seemingly impossible challenges by the end of the year, you're not only going to be prepped. You're not only going to be prepped for 2021, because I don't think 2021 is going to be any easier than 2020. I think it's going to get even more difficult. But you're going to look back at 2020 and be like, that was the best year of my life. That would make me so happy. One of my challenges of my 20 challenges is going to be getting 1 million people before the end of the year to do the 2020 challenge. And it seems impossible, but I have to try. I think I'll finish off this video with, I've always believed that, if you're someone who has a hard time doing difficult things, look for something that's harder than that thing to accomplish, and then it'll make whatever you're trying to accomplish a lot easier. And the idea is do really, really hard things so that really things don't seem so hard. Do really, really hard things so that really hard things don't seem so hard. So if you think running 5 miles is hard, run 6 miles, run 10 miles. Just challenge yourself to do it, because you can do it. The only thing stopping you is what's in here. And once you do that really, really hard thing, the thing that you thought was really hard isn't so hard anymore every single time. For me, I've been walking / running about 100 miles a month right now, over 100, 120. I've recently been walking the length of a marathon, just going for a walk for 26 miles. And it's really, really hard. But in doing that over and over again, I'm finding that other things in my life are becoming easier. I used to look at the gym or exercise as something that was extremely difficult. And it was such a task. It was such a burden to have to go to the gym. And now I can't wait to go to the gym. I've been doing it for so long. I've had such a long persistence of going to the gym. Even with running, it's my highlight of the day now. And I look back at that, and I look back at that, and I'm like, oh man, if I could have seen getting past that hump, whatever that hump was, where the transition of thinking it was really uncomfortable versus before, when I was looking at it, it was like super uncomfortable. It was too difficult. It was a chore. And then all of a sudden some hump happened that I got over, where it's something I get to do instead of something I have to do. And I wish people could experience that feeling as well. And I think to get that, you need to start small, and you just need to be persistent about it and have faith. Just keep going no matter what. And I think whatever it is, even with this video, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm just starting small, hitting record, talking to the camera, zero expectations. And who knows what this thing is going to become. It might become something, it might not become something, but just set small expectations. And when you do something like that, you start pushing yourself through limits that you never saw before, that you never knew before. And that's where we're going to find meaning in life. That's where we find out who we are. And I highly suspect if I keep this up, that in the future, I'm going to be somebody entirely different. And, if I die, if I'm aware of the last moments that I die, I want to have a smile on my face in those last moments. I want to truly know that whatever I did in this life, I did the right thing, and that I did the right things, and I lived my life to the fullest, because we only get such a small amount of time. And there's a little trick that I do. I'll probably address this other times, but a big idea that I've had in my mind for a long time is, imagine you're 99 years old and you're on your deathbed. You've lived your entire life. You're literally on your deathbed. You have to truly imagine it. Your entire family's around you. You're looking at them. You're old. Your kids, your grandkids, your great-great-grandkids. Everyone's around you. And you're just thinking back on your life. You're like, oh my God, this is it. I did that. I did that thing. I lived. And you look back, and all of a sudden the universe gives you another chance. The universe is like, you can go back to that. You can go back to right now, whatever this moment is for you. So if I were to be 99 years old, I could come back to right now, being on this microphone, talking to you, talking to myself. And what would I do in that moment? What decisions would I make differently? And I try to live that philosophy. I try to live by that philosophy. What would I do? I'd be doing this personally. This is exactly what I'd be doing. And I use that as a kind of a way to give myself a second chance to actually go to that moment. I'm not saying like pretend you're there. Truly close your eyes. Go to your 99-year-old self. You're on your deathbed. You've lived your entire life. You get to come back to right now. What would you do differently? I find that to be so powerful. I personally have these moments where my body's in pain, and I think I'm kind of a hypochondriac in that I think I have cancer all the time. I had a tumor a little while ago that was removed on my colon, but even right now I'm feeling like a pain in my stomach, and then I end up going to the doctor, and they tell me nothing's there, and then it goes away. But instead of looking at that as a bad thing, it really brings me to this present moment, and instead of being able to get to 99 years old, I'm I'm almost giving myself even less time. And one of my friends, Jerome Jar, recently told me, live your life like you have 1 year left. What would you be doing differently? It was actually a quote I told him a long time ago, the 99 years old thing, that changed his life. And recently he told me, you have 1 year left. And that really puts things into perspective. You have 1 year left. What would you be doing differently? That doesn't mean spend all your money and, road trip, live for short term, but it really does help sharpen your mind to think about now and how you should be living right now. And I would be doing this right here, right now. I'd be talking to the camera. I think one of my biggest fears, I know this is a long video. I don't know if I'm going to be doing long videos like this regularly. It's almost 30 minutes. What was I going to say? I totally forgot what I was going to say. I would be doing this right now. I often do that where I'll forget something and then I'll go off and be like, you just forgot something, and then I'll keep that loop in my head and then I completely forget what it was. Well, I think I'm going to make another video right after this. I don't know what it's going to be about, but the truth about something. I'm excited for this channel. Oh, I remember what it was. Okay. I have a big fear that all these things that have been loading in my head, that have been just piling up, I have a fear that they don't get out at some point. The ideas don't get out there. And I truly believe that I had a kind of a unique upbringing. I'll talk about that another time, but it kind of put me out of the normal way of growing up and seeing things. And I think I have a different perspective on things than most people. And who knows if it's true or not. A lot of the times I will have an idea that I think is true and it's totally wrong. It's extremely wrong. I have a lot of extreme ideas. My friends will attest to that. And I'm looking at this as it's, if I die, all these ideas get to live somewhere on the internet for people in the future to pick at, if they care. Maybe people won't care. I don't know. But, I have a big fear that I'm going to die before these ideas get out. So this is me truly living like I'm going to die in a year. I really hope I don't. But if I do, I don't want to think that all this was a waste. And yeah, so this is me patiently carving my ideas into the wall, and future generations can, look at this, and maybe just my kids, and they can appreciate the carvings that I'm making right now. Yeah. So, sorry this was a little bit of a... I'm not sorry. Anybody who's watching this long, I think you appreciate the process of thinking like this, of just slowly thinking, processing. I guarantee the videos in the future I make will look so much different than this, so much more different. My pace will be different, my voice will be different, my presence will be different.